Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Hope everyone is ready for another OSOK opportunity. Hope everyone's NFP week has been going well. How has everyone's week been so far? Anybody get any winning trades in, losing trades in? Sandeep, I don't keep track of ES numbers. Good morning, Kyra, Jimmy, Krypton, Crew, Marco. What's going on, Array? Unky is here. Unky is here. Just giving everyone a chance to hello Libre, get a couple more people to join here. How about anybody new? If you're new here, put a 2 in the chat. This will be your first time either observing or actually participating. Okay, we got a couple 2s. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. All right, so let's get to it. What everybody wants to know: what's the pad size going to be? What's the pad size going to be? If I got $5 for every time I got that question, I wouldn't have to trade. All right, here we go. All right, so the pad. As most of you know, I, for the most part, only trade 250K accounts from Apex. So that gives you a max contract allocation of 27, and the passing profit target is 15,000. So currently for NFP, that pad size, the highest passing percentage is 71%, is a 23-point pad. I personally am not going to be using a 23-point pad today. That might bite me in the butt, but I don't care. I'm actually going to go higher because we've had some crazy increased volatility over the last few weeks. So I personally am going to run a 35-point pad. It's just an intuition. I may be completely wrong, but you know what? It is what I'm going to do. So it only has a 42% passing rate. So yes, based on historical data, a higher point pad has a lower passing rate, but at the same time, these statistical numbers, we weren't averaging like 850 points a day on NASDAQ for these during this last year period. So I'm thinking that because there's going to be higher volatility, we may have a higher manipulation. Again, I could be completely wrong. It's totally up to you guys to follow me down the rabbit hole, or if you want to run with the what the statistics tell you, which for a 250K account, your highest passing percentage is a 23-point pad. So let's take a look. Let's see what some of us got there. So SK6U, please don't spam the chat. We're going to get to it. If you guys just spam the chat, I'm not going to answer your question. But Jay, let's start with you. 50K, 3 contracts, 3,000 max. I can tell you it's not going to be that great. Only being able to use 3 contracts, you're going to have a pretty low passive percentage. Yeah, so 36% on a 23-point pad. If I go with 35, it's even lower. It's 25%. So certain accounts are better guys than others for this strategy. And when you can only allocate 3 contracts to try to pass 3,000, that might not be the best type of account to use for this strategy. This strategy is best used when you can use an account or utilize a eval that has a high number of contract allocations. That's another reason why I choose the 250K accounts. When it comes to traditional eval passing, a 250K Apex account is actually extremely hard to pass because you only have $6,500 of drawdown or risk to pass a $15,000 profit target. Some other funded accounts might be easier to pass a traditional trading way. For example, a 50K account, I believe you have 2,500 in drawdown to reach $3,000 in profit. So that's almost a one-to-one risk to profit passing. Whereas a 250K account, it's like 2.5, right? To of what you have allowed to risk to actually pass. So in my eyes, the only way to pass a 250K eval is using all of that risk, the full $6,500 that you have as drawdown at one shot. That's why I use those accounts. So for those who are trying to employ this method with smaller accounts, meaning a 50K account that only allows 3 contracts and you have to get $3,000 passing target, this might not be the strategy to do that with. That's why this is a very unique way to pass, and only certain types of accounts work best for that. So again, a 50K Apex account, I believe you can have 10 contracts. So that, look at that. That's a whole different passing percentage. So you go from a passing percentage in the 20s to 83%. So, and that's because you're allowed to utilize more contracts. So just 3K, how much is given slippage? I can't, you're always going to be slipped one way or another. I usually just go on my $15,000 account. I just go for 15,500 as the passing target, just in case there's slippage. Let's see here. Sandeep, 25K Apex, 1,500 profit. I need to know how many contracts you have. Cola, I don't know what do you mean by use micros too. Micros are they're just 1/10 of a mini. 4 contracts. There you go. Yeah, so a 35-point pad, Sandeep, would get you a 75% passing rate. Probably a smaller pad, technically, yeah. So a smaller pad has the higher passing percentage. So you could go with the smaller. Again, it's up to you guys. I'm personally going with the higher one because I do think we're going to have increased volatility on this. So also, I hope no circuit breakers get broken. The last 3 OSOK attempts, 2 of them technically would have passed, but they technically failed because the market makers paused the market right at the drop of the news event. So hopefully that doesn't happen today. We'll find out if it does. Yeah, Array, that's I believe that is more than likely circuit breakers being triggered. Let's look at, so Array, on your 300K account, what's the profit target with those 35 contracts? I think it's 20K. If you're talking about Apex, I think it's a 20K is the profit target. So Libre, on my accounts, my passing percentage actually significantly is decreased on a 35-point pad. So at a 23-point pad with my 250K accounts, it's a 71% passing rate, but on a 35-point pad, it drops down to in the 40s. But I'm just ignoring that at this point in time. Again, it's up to you guys if you want to follow me down that rabbit hole or if you want to stick with what the data shows. So Ray, a 23-point pad on a 300K account is 71%. It's probably going to drop down just like mine does. Yeah. So with a 35-point pad, it drops down to 42. 30-point pad is 46. 25-point pad is 64. So once again, the statistic guys are going to show you that the smaller pad for these larger accounts is going to give you a higher passing percentage. But it's because the statistics of how far price moves is based when we were averaging like 350 to 450, maybe 500 at the most on an average daily range. Whereas right now we're averaging like 800 and something points a day over the last 3 or 4 weeks or the last 21 days. So there's definitely increased volatility. So these numbers are data. However, they are a bit skewed because of how much the volatility has increased. Again, if you use a normal pad, Libre, it's a 71% passing rate. 35-point pad is a 42% passing rate. So it's a significant difference. So, all right. So enough of the pads, guys. Let's go over for everyone who is new to this, and who wants to understand how to actually execute this. So here we have our pad indicator. This is our 35 points. Again, on a minute chart, it looks big. We've been, over the last, 4 or 5 hours, we've basically just been consolidating. 3 or 4 hours, we've basically been consolidating. We do have these highs and lows, but I think price is going to reach here and here eventually. So during this, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, the way we employ this, once we have our protection pad in place, so if you're running with a 35-point pad, I put in 35 points. We want to use stop orders, not limit or market orders. So if we're below price, we want to enter a stop sell order. So we right click on our mouse, go to trade, create new order, run sell, make sure you have a stop order, put in your maximum number of contracts, and then your take profit right there. That's weird. What is it doing that for? That's not supposed to do that. Oh, I put 2 of them on there. Why did I put 2 of them on there? That's interesting. Let's go do the buys first. Buy stop. There we go. All right, so we'll do the buy stop above. Again, I go for a little higher profit target. Let's see, what would 15.5 look like? That'd be 115. We'll go with that. I go a little higher in case there is slippage, because there is always slippage in this. And once again, below, we do a sell stop. 115. And I know I've had a few people ask me over the last couple of days, how do I move the bracket order? You hold your shift button down, and then you drag the orders up. So that's how you move the bracket orders all in one shot. So I'm on the 1 minute time frame, Sergio. It really doesn't matter what chart time frame you have now as far as this is concerned, but let's focus up, guys. We got a minute left. So good luck to everybody that is attempting. As we all know, this is a risk, and if you can't light the cost of an eval on fire and not care about it, then you shouldn't be employing this method. And we only do this for evals. We don't do this on cash accounts or actual funded accounts. So good luck. Let's see what happens. $20 seconds, guys. Focus here. All right, here we go. All right. I don't know if I passed or not. I think I did. Let's see. I'm pretty sure that was a pass. Let's take a look. Oh, almost. Let's see. What was it? 263. Almost a pass. That was almost a pass. It wasn't a fail. So let's see here. So I'm about 2,000 short. Okay, I'll take that though. I'll take that. How did everyone else do? Pass, pass, pass. Let's go. Almost pass. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. See, there you go, guys. Way to go. Good job. All right. Well, look, I'm just happy we didn't have a pause. Near pass. Okay, that's okay, guys. Pass. There we go. There we go. Yep, just a couple more. That's fine. So on this one, guys, let's look. So on this one, the normal 23-point pad would have been fine. Let's go down to the 1 second chart. So this is what I like to look at the 1 second chart on. So what happens with these higher time frame candles that you don't see a lot is that you'll have 1 second retracements, but if you're on a 1 minute chart or something after the fact and you're going back and you're looking, you won't see what actually truly happens. So this is that first 1 second candle. How far did that first 1 second? So 84 points in that first 1 second candle. So then we had a bit of a retracement. Then we had a four. So this would have blown an account if your orders didn't execute by the time that happened. But if you look back at historical data, if you just look at a 1 minute chart, you're not going to see this, or a 1 second chart. You're not going to see this if you're just looking at a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart. So that's why I go down to the 1 second now when I look at my actual statistics. Let's go, everybody. Fantastic. What a great OSOK this was. We had a bunch of passes. Let's go. Give some love in the chat. Like this video if you passed. Awesome. Awesome. This is fantastic. Passed with the 45. Awesome. Great. Yep. See? These are good. These are good ones when everybody passes. Oh, Libre, you're too kind, my friend. Hey, Kyra. Guys, if you aren't following Kyra and Jimmy Trades on Twitter, I highly suggest you do it. These guys are killing the game. And as always, for those of you who want access to the data sheet, the way you get access to the data sheet is you either join the Unicorn University or the Market Lens. The data sheet is exclusive for those two communities. Both of those communities have awesome models. You get to learn alongside Ash Trades and others in the Unicorn University and watch them actually live trade 3 days a week. And in the Market Lens, you have AM trades, T trades, and now also Garrett's GXT model as well, which is a little modified version of the T trades fractal model. So if you guys aren't a part of those communities, you can join. Links to those communities are in this description. As well as last shout out I'll give is to Toodegrees. Anybody who loves the Toodegrees tools, you can get access to those tools. You can use my code DayTradingRealtor to get 20% off lifetime access to those. Whether you pay monthly or you pay yearly, 20% off if you want to. Just use code DayTradingRealtor. So, all right, very good, everybody. That was a successful OSOK. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Let's see. Our next opportunity will be our next CPI, I believe. I don't know when FOMC is. I'm not a fan of FOMC, but CPI would be my next target. So hopefully he is a sniper. You're correct. Well, hope all y'all enjoyed that. Hope everybody had some fun. Remember, we're going back to our normal trading model. We're not doing this on our funded or cash accounts. Make sure you turn off instant order execution unless you want that on. That's fine. TradingView has actually fixed that now. But I hope everyone had fun. Hope you guys have a safe, enjoyable weekend. As many people say, get out, touch some grass, get out from behind the screens, and have a great weekend. And we'll get back at it next week. So thank you for that, Sandeep. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Trade safe, risk properly, and happy trading.